What's up, guys? I gotta keep my composure. I'm laughing at myself because I found one of my old songs, and well, I thought about one of my old songs, and this shit is hilarious after listening to it. But Lonnie, I wanted to just talk about some shit that I listened to from Bobby Hemming, and it kind of aligns to things I talked about with aligning your past selves and controlling your emotions and things like that, and making that perfect storm. But the conversation kind of started with if and it's in my playlist, of course. It's at the end. I hate how they kind of do the playlist. Y'all gotta search and find, but I wish it was a better way. It's in my recent likes. I know that I like everything, so I don't really know how to. You got to kind of match up dates and things, but I do my best to explain it anyways. But aligning to the ancestors, like the things that they kind of was talking about to start, it was like what's more important, where you focus on the Illuminati or the so-called Illuminati or the government or just oppressors, or like going inside and kind of talking to your ancestors and like controlling them in a sense of telling them what to do. And it make a lot of sense in a sense of if you look at a lot of movies, they always waiting on this child, or they always waiting on this savior to like change the world, even as the second coming, like he's supposed to save us and shit like that, because he, whatever, a bunch of different reasons. But it's that same sense of when you look in the side of self, like our ancestors had a bunch of different views and a bunch of different perspectives, and some of them went to war, some of them was, what do you call it, allies, some of them beefed a little bit, some of them just, maybe just went through arguments, but a lot of different things. Some of them probably tried to have genocide against others. Like literally everything that you can imagine in this physical reality has been happening inside of us. When you could think of viruses and all type of different things, but I'm talking really spiritual. But even though like you can literally say that everything within, without, when it comes from physical body, physical world, spiritual world, like same shit. And say what I was going to say is like they pretty much be. They opposed each other over time. They fought each other a lot of the times, and our job is to become that mediator, become the one that pretty much aligns to them in a sense. And once we do that, once we become on that righteous path, they start fucking with us because like we're not choosing sides. We're not saying one ancestor or one incarnation was more right or more wrong than another. Like we're not holding on. We're not sticking to that one idea. And like when you listen to Bobby Hemming too, and he do a lot of his what do you call it? Not invocations, something like that. He called at least 100 gods in a lecture, and in some lectures he can go even more. And it's literally just calling the different aspects of self. Like there's so many different versions of ourselves that's been created, and we all at one point start worshiping them on the outside and start realizing they all came from the inside. And it's the same thing with books and religion. People go harder in the books and stick to one aspect when you literally can read every aspect of books and you pretty much get the same theme of like this realm and reality and pretty much how society, like if you even read like Brave New World and shit like that, you might think that's a fictional book, but you can see how it mimic this world. Like everything, every book, every shit's gonna mimic part of your environment, because like I said before, all books, all movies are summaries of the mind. I don't give a fuck if it's a horror movie, I don't give a fuck if it's spiritual. It's all imagination, all come from the inside. That shit is real. Stop thinking that shit fake, dreams, all that shit. The shit we pull from our art, all that shit come from inside. And the shit that you display come from the inside. Like, and the fact that you think your imagination and dreams is fake, but it's certain people that's creating with that shit. And you go watch their movies and you go listen to their music and you think they're amazing creators, but you got that same shit inside you, probably even 10 times harder. Because a lot of times, like, they're using other people's stories, and that's why, like I said, these same messages and shit been repeating, because they don't have any new information, and they're not choosing to tap into new shit like we are. Like, if you go into this occult, you go into that metaphysics, there's way more stories and way more things that we could tap into and show as art when it comes to this physical world. But when it comes to the white man society, they only have a couple of ideas on reality, and that's pretty much the destruction of this society. And that's why you always get the end time shit, and it's the end of the world as you know. And I'm getting off subject, or some shit to do with capitalism, or shit to do with enslavement. Them the only type of movie, or horror, like that's the only real movies you get out of society in a sense. Like, it's always some type of propaganda. Like, I can literally decode almost every movie because there's propaganda behind it. It's never, like, I mean, everybody got an agenda, but it's never just honestly just being open and just being real. Like, it's always, I mean, I guess they are being open and real about shit, but they not, I mean, you know how I explain it, bro. It's always a code. It's always hidden in a sense, so. get back on topic. But when you start aligning your past selves, you start realizing a lot of this shit. You start they like I said, you stop choosing sides, you stop being one sided, and you start listening to everybody, and you start realizing how all of them was right. And like I said, there's no right or wrong and no complete right, there's no complete wrong in any scenario. Everything has balance, everything can be have multiple perspectives from it. So the fact that you always look at something one sided is insane, because there's multiple sides to look at anything when it comes to a person, when it comes to this reality, when it comes to anything. And honestly, like, if you're not looking at life multi-dimensional, you're probably missing a lot of different things in your life. And that's not using, like I said, your other selves. But let's go even to the more deeper shit. It's like when they see you on this righteous path and going in and making sure, being that mediator, that diplomat, like they start listening to you, because literally nobody else listens to each other, because they always even if there was an ally, it was because it would benefit them and they didn't really want to oppose them. It wasn't to everybody benefit. Like, if you look at it like this, like, say if when I say like ally, say it's like a parent trying to be a friend to his kid type shit. Like, no, you need to be a parent, or you need to be even a good, like a friend trying to just be a yes man type shit. And like, so it never just worked out the complete way it has to do. Like, they never looked at it, the flaws either, because sometimes you can only look at the benefits to shit and not see the flaws in people when you have friends. A lot of friends do that and not be 100% real. And that's why I say you got to be 100% real with your diplomacy, and being 100% objective and saying the good and bad and everything, saying that what other people call the devil or the God or evil and shit. You got to see the good and shit in everything, even in evil. You have to see the good. And literally, I can pull a bunch of shit and realize how the devil is good. If you understand that the devil only gets permission to take over people after God deems you not worthy, that means the devil is an overseer. And I mean, a lot of people are good with prisons today because they enhold people that's not worthy to be in reality or in their frequency. So I mean, what's the difference from the people that's going to metaphorical hell? Like, I mean, they're a different frequency, but like I said, the devil's not bad, like in the sense of the fucking person, because it's only doing its job. And you're mad at somebody for doing their job. Like I said, if you look at multiple different perspectives, yeah, you can see it as bad because you don't want to be under that energy, because you're scared you might not do the right thing. Like I said, it's a weakness of yourself when we talking about manipulation and, a lot of different things when it comes to oppression. It starts to go to show you where, like, your true morals and shit lie. Like I say, that's why a lot of people scared of hell and shit, because they're scared of their own self, like, and they think they're not on the righteous path. And that's really just being real with yourself. Like, why do you feel that way? I used to tell myself I was going to hell all the time, and I keep getting off topic. But like I said, when you become that diplomat, they start listening to you because you're on that path, and they want to become a god. They all want to help you become that god level. We all have the same aspects of rising, even if we all the way in a lower level, like, we still have that aspect of being better versions of self, even if we never fully do it. Because I mean, you can see people that die with their grief, but they still always had the aspiration. I probably had even poetry or something that you can pull from where they wish they would have done better and shit like that. And that's that same aspect of we always wish we can do better, no matter how negative and shit you are or consider you are. Let me see. I ain't necessarily saying in this reality we gonna do that, but I'm talking spiritual. Just to make sure we on the, same path. Cause shit get distorted. But like I said, they all want to become gods. And now that you listen, and now that you paying attention to everybody, now that you, like, if you look at like the Rick and Mortys and how they all functioning, they all have a voice, and then there's like a citadel where they have a court where they pretty much judge and shit. Like, you are that person, that you are that one judge, you are that dictator, and pretty much when we become that God level, we get to unlock them. We get to free them like a character, in a sense, like a game. And you, like I said, you meet your ancestors, like with the Black Panther, like when he seen the other Panthers or the Avatar, where he sees other incarnations, like you unlock them because they've been trapped in a sense of, their realities, just like how we've been trapped in this reality. And we all trying to merge and pretty much use alchemy and to combine our different ways of frequencies and how we've been doing these things to elevate up out this bitch and pretty much unlock and be connected once again to our true self and to all versions of ourselves. And you can look at it in many aspects. Like I said, I give you the Rick and Morty because it gives you a physical idea of how many different versions of yourself that you could be connecting to. And if you think about all the different frequencies, bro, and all the different things they learn if you stop, saying one person's wrong, one person right. And it's like literally thousands of versions of yourself. If you combine all those different thoughts to the best versions of themselves and use them as that one manifestation, anything that opposes you, literally there'll be nothing that can oppose you, because you're the only one that's opposing yourself with all arguments inside. And once you have all this alignment, like what'll be in front of you to stop you? Like nothing, because you have so much knowledge and so much shit that you backed by. And I talk about us being backed by more than a foundation of this reality we exist in. And like I said, we're trapped in this illusion and forgetting where we come from and forgetting how many times we've done that. Now I was really like, when I said the Rick and Morty, like that's literally only talking about self. It's not even including ancestors that we're still connected to, and past, like other, like bro, it gets real deep. Other deities and things that was connected to families and shit like that. It's so many different energies that's trying to help us all finish this shit over with. Like even with like Bobby Hemming and shit like that. These people we learn from, like we look at family members being like necessarily somebody that birthed you or had the process of birth, or connected to that family line. But like bro, you have many fathers, you have many mothers in this physical life and spiritual lives, and like you can call them guardian angels or whatever you want to call them. But when you connect with them and you marry so much energy and knowledge, bro, you become connected with them, and you help them grow. Like I said that in another video, like we all with the different energies and trying to merge all of the energies that we use and all help each other grow. Like it's not just a parasitic thing. Like it's a mutualistic thing where everybody benefit in the sense of if you're on the right frequency, if you're on that righteous path, and they go to the physical and to your spirits and ancestors and shit like that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I was gonna end it off with the Avatar, but I might as well. But pretty much with the Avatar, you gotta understand it's different. It was air avatars, it was fire avatars, it was earth avatars, it was water avatars, and they all got different elements and all different understandings and perspectives of life and how they operate, and they will oppose each other naturally, and that's why you have to be the alchemist and pretty much combining all of the energies and using them for the benefit of the good or the benefit of righteousness, and becoming that God path that I always talk about. But I mean, y'all watch the Avatar. If you watch Black Panther, it has little hidden messages. Rick and Morty, the multi-dimensional shit and just tapping into other dimensions and shit like that. It go into dreaming, they go into lucid dreaming and things like that. It's really a real spiritual shit. And honestly, like with the whole death and life, how life is just like like how they really treat life as a illusion. Like certain things are die and get killed with no remorse and shit like that. Rick's die with no remorse, because we have died with no remorse. We have died. Like honestly, there's been so many versions of us. There's no reason to even fear that shit, because it's really an illusion. And honestly, that's like it's no really even reason to get more deeper than that. But I think I'm gonna end it there. Deuces.